And welcome back to another edition of Miami Cycling. Today we have the final race of the Miami Prix Series in Doral. Today I joined forces with a cycling team for once, and I now have a regular co-host and my friend Sean, who's joined me today. Sean, why don't you introduce yourself and introduce the team?
Hey Ben, glad to be back. As usual, always a pleasure getting on the mic with you and discussing these races here in Miami. But again, back here representing Rubenton Sims, little seamstress cycling team, and ready to discuss all the shenanigans that took place in the Miami Prix series.
All right, great, thank you. How about the rest of you guys?
What's going on, guys? Andrew Sims, currently in this video for a portion of it. Glad to be here to represent for the team.
Hi, everybody. This is Sebastian. I'm new with the team and glad to be here.
All right, guys. Why don't you guys take me through what you were discussing pre-race? I know you had a little bit of a team meeting and some plans about, if this happened, we'll do X. If this happened, we'll do B, and then ultimately a plan C. And then after we go through that, we'll skip ahead towards the end of the race and talk about exactly how the race ended up happening and how the race was won and lost and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to let Sebastian, take the lead on this because it was him reaching out and wanting to actually discuss a plan for the race, which we ended up implementing. So, Sebastian, go ahead.
Sounds like a plan. So so I think we started talking earlier in the week and then the day of the race about what should be our different plans for racing day. And so, we knew that there was going to be some attacks at the very beginning, especially from city backs trying to get away. So we decided who of us was going to start covering those attacks and trying to get on the breakaway. I think that right from the beginning, there was a group that it went on, which I tried to follow. It didn't end up on anything. But so that was our plan A. Our plan B was just to stay in the peloton, just save ourselves and try to bring Andrew to the end. But as racing goes, everything changes through the race. And so our plan C was to just try to position ourselves and bring Andrew to the end, to the sprint. Just unfortunately, just happens that we missed the breakaway that finished in the front, but I think we play our cards pretty well towards the end, and we got together and tried to bring Andrew to the end.
Yeah, and you can see here, I think where you were just talking about that first big attack, you had 4 or 5 city bikes guys just sitting in the front letting these riders go up the road. I jumped. I think you're on my wheel right here. You jumped, and we actually did make it across, and it was a pretty big group that got away for half a lap. I felt like if we could have gotten some cohesion quickly, that would have been a nice big group just to ride off the front and split the race in half, but it didn't work out that way. I think actually what happened is once we were caught, the counterattack from that was the move that ended up staying up the road and ultimately getting away for most of the race.
Yeah, I think it was the race was not the typical Doral race. If you're familiar with racing at El Hueco down here in Miami, it's really difficult for a break to stick in this series at El Hueco. But as usual, the last race of the season or mid-season, things tend to get a little bit more heated. And there's a lot more volatility within the race, so we expected that. So, like you said, we're able to close that break that was attempted towards the beginning of the race. But that was really good efforts. But then towards the end, things started to pick up. There was really no lull in the race. I don't know if anybody agrees with that, but I didn't see any lull in this race.
It was certainly fast. I think we averaged about 27 miles an hour, which is just about the top speed that we hit in the Masters races anyway. We were pretty
27.1, Ben. Don't please don't forget the .1. All right, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'm bougie and I use kilometers, so I just had to guess with the math in my head. So
Oh, we have a Canuck.
so Andrew, I think you did make it into a secondary group for a part of the race, though, right? You were in not the front group, but maybe a second group of breakaway riders.
Yeah, so with the initial plan, Sebastian and Mike were covering the brakes or anything that went up the road, just so we can like keep the pack together. Obviously, to allow me to save as much energy as possible, with Sean covering my backside, keeping me clear. So, with those two initial shots that went up the road, unfortunately, we missed it as a team. And then when the counter opportunity came, seeing that we didn't have the ability to go as we had just come back, I had to take the initiative and just like jump on to the back of that second attack group and just go with them. Yeah, I think that, we were working pretty cohesively. Unfortunately, there was one team within our group who had 3 riders, and I think there was an initial rider who was in the front group, so they weren't particularly willing to work as hard as the rest of the people within our group. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, we stayed away, I think, for 20 minutes from that point, and then got reeled back in right around the 5 laps to go. So that really offered us the opportunity to readjust and, go with our secondary strategy, which was to sit in and try and, whether it's myself, whether it's Sean, whoever felt good, get somebody to the finish within that group ahead of everybody else.
All right, so now we're skipping ahead towards the end of the race. Lap cards are out right now, I believe, at this time, or they're coming out shortly. As mentioned in the last clip, the plan is to sit in, save energy, and get everybody lined up to do the lead out. And as the laps dwindled down, I think just before 2 laps to go, the team gets together very nicely. I was on the last wheel, sitting on Sean's wheel, and things kind of slowed up a little bit as we were crossing the finish line with 2 laps to go. So I said to you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and get on the front and try and keep it as fast as possible for as long as possible, so people aren't attacking and swarming. So I'm not sure if this is coming up right now or it's coming up in a few, but we can fill the dead air. It's probably actually after this lap with some general conversation about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was. Oh, Sean, go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say, I think Sebastian had an eye for, because you can imagine, again, this is the last race of the series. So we know whoever's in point contention is going to make a move towards the front. And I think Sebastian had a good handle on who it was that was within points contention. And keeping a watchful eye for where that move was going to come from, so we could latch on and just skate around.
Yeah, no, I think that was, so at that point, I realized that the number 1 and 2 in the overall were towards the middle of the pack as we're coming together. And Andrew was on the right side, and we're all like trying to get inside. And that's what I think when Ben came in and said, I'm going to go in the front. And at that point, it was like, Ben, go. And probably Ben did a big effort for like over a lap. And you kept that peloton, like nobody could move up.
Yeah,
we were going at over 30 miles an hour at that point.
It hurt.
I'm sure.
Trust me. Yeah, so I can see the boys up ahead on my camera. You guys are starting to coalesce, and I'm moving up in here. And I think I actually yelled to you, Sean. I said, I got your wheel. And this is where we all came together. It was like one of the nice things about this race is like, nobody wanted to take those inside corners because they were a little bit wet and there was a little bit of debris. So if you did want to take that risk, you could move up like 20 spots in one corner if you wanted to, because everybody was kind of shying away from the corners, where usually everybody's hugging those corners.
Yeah, corner 4, that was a bit tricky.
Yeah, and you can see like right there, like we were protecting Andrew. Andrew was in the inside for a minute, but it was me, Mike, Andrew, then Sean, and you were in the back, and you're about to come to the front, I think, in the very next lap, man, to
Yeah,
put that
it's
massive
coming.
effort.
It's coming right here, I think, because we're crossing the finish line, and everybody. It was just a slight slowdown, like slight slowdown to 26 miles an hour. But you know, I'm like, all right, this is the time to do this, I guess.
It's funny to say slight slowdown, 26 miles an hour.
Yeah. So
Think about how fast we're going those last 2 laps.
Yeah. So
Here we go. That's when you go.
I go to the front, kind of take the inside here, and then I have a gap, and I'm like, okay, that's not what I want to do. These guys might just let me go up the road and explode myself and get caught anyway, so that was kind of pointless. So I took the foot off the gas just a little bit right here to let everybody come ahead, and then as soon as they got on the wheel, I heard you yell, Sebastian, like, go, go, go. So that's
Yeah,
But let me
no.
ask you this, Ben. Let me ask you this: when you made that kick, what were you thinking? What were you hoping to do? You just wanted to stretch out the field, or did you not think anybody was going to follow you?
No, I wanted to stretch the field out because you guys were sitting in such a nice position, you know, about maybe 15, 20 wheels back. And as people come off the front on the last lap, you guys would have been in a perfect position to do a lead out for, you know, just you go hard and Sebastian goes hard and then Andrew's ready for the sprint. So I thought if I could just take the whole lap on the front and then you guys only have to worry about controlling the pace for 1 lap. And my goal here was just to keep it as stretched out as possible so nobody could move up or attack. So,
Okay. Yeah, because, you know, typically at on this course, that extra kick is around corner 4. I mean, we know that. But just because the last race I expected to be around corner 3. And he turned up around that same time, around corner 3, and was much earlier than the typical kick at this course. So it was almost right there, right on point.
Yep. So this is I come around. We're coming around the last turn here, and I pull off. I see these guys in the orange helmets. They're coming up to do their own lead out. You can see them coming in the background. And once they passed me, I was just like, it's kind of demoralizing when you're pushing so hard and somebody goes around you and you can see my speeds drop to like 26, 27. I'm like, okay, that's it. I've got no more left. So I swing off the front and let everybody else go to work with the 1 lap to go.
We were just right there, like in the top 10 at that point.
Yeah. So, how did it end up going? I know we don't have any video footage of it, but can you guys just, while this is finishing up here, kind of take us through how that last lap went?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as Sebastian mentioned, we were in the top 10, you know, coming down that final straight, going into the final lap. Did a phenomenal job, like as my lead out man on the front, making sure that my front wheel was protected. Sean and Mike, I believe it's probably Sean, who was on my wheel, keeping me protected in the back. So, I mean, it was just perfect positioning just to get things going. So as we come out of turn 2, there's a slight lull before City Bikes cranks it up. And at that point, I remember yelling up to Sebastian, like, we got to go. It's time to go, like, crank it up. And we just started ripping. We hit corner 3, and we're coming around, and Sebastian had given it his all to that point. And I told him I got to go on the next wheel in front of him. So I jump onto the 5 guys who are in front of me, and I mean we're just hammering at that point. We come into corner 4, come into the final straight. I think I made an error going all the way wide to the right, but I wanted to have a clean path to the sprint finish. So I just went all the way right, head down, sprinted in. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up any more places than where I finished or where I started that sprint. So it came in 6th on that group. But all in all, I think everyone did a phenomenal job.
That outside line you took, Andrew, after corner 4 on the on the straight towards the finish. That outside line you took, I think it was perfect. It was right in line with how you took the corner. If you went inside, it was too bunched up, and it was. I think you made good use of the space. I think it was perfect. It was just there was too much firepower at the front at that joint.
Yeah, I mean it's we're a team of we were a team of 4+1 with Ben.
Yeah.
And City Bikes was just out with their numbers. So, but as that's the first time that we're all working, together as a single unit, and getting through our planned attack plan. I think everyone did a fantastic job. I'm just happy to continue on and see what happens.
Yeah, likewise. That was a lot of fun. So as this footage kind of plays out, Kay got some video of the riders crossing the line. The quality is not that good. I don't know what happened to the camera. Maybe it got foggy or whatever. But then immediately following, I was just recently sent some shenanigans that happened in the 4-5 footage that we'll just quickly comment on that. It's only about 15 seconds, but you see a little bit of a shove and an almost collision, and then it reminds
4-5.
It reminds me of how happy I am I do not race in 4-5 anymore. So here's
it's just silly.
Here's the winner coming across the line. It's I guess this is City Bikes guy, right?
Yeah.
And then his breakaway companions are coming through. Next time, if Kay's not going to race, we got to get him a little closer to the line so we can see this action. And then and then I guess this next part is when you guys came through, which this footage is a little bit better, but it's so far away, it's really hard to see what happened. But right now in a couple seconds, this 4-5 shoving's going to happen, and then immediately following, I've got a little special map of Europe coming up. We can just do a quick little talk about the Tour de France.
Just brag it up.
So here we go. This guy in Legion jersey watches too much crit drama. Watch him. Shoves this dude and almost takes out.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Miami.
So Tour de France is happening. It's a big one. There's a lot of crashes leading into the Tour. Remco broke a collarbone. Roglic has fallen numerous times. Jonas has had a punctured lung and several broken ribs. Wout van Aert broke 8 ribs and a sternum. And Poggi.
Sepp Kuss is out now.
And
COVID.
Sepp Kuss is out with COVID, and Poggi pretty much just dominated the Giro and did everything that he wanted to do. So the odds-on favorite here is Poggi. But do you see any room for anybody else to come in and do something?
No.
That's not going to happen.
Not a chance. So if you see down in the bottom corner, it says Plateau des Bielle. I don't know how to pronounce that. We may be at the top of that mountain for that stage. It's only a couple hours drive from Girona, where we're going to be staying for the whole entire duration of the Tour de France. So we are going to try.
Oh, that's sick.
We're going to try.
So I have a question for you, Ben. Are you going to be wearing shoes again while you're running on the road, just like last year?
Going bare feet, Fred Flintstone style.
There we go.
Oh my God. All right, guys, I got to jump off. Good talking to you.
Yeah.
Enjoy the trip.
Yeah, great talk, guys. And we'll cut it here. Everybody have a great week and good luck in Central Broward. I'm sorry I'm going to miss the race with you guys, but I'll be back after that.
All right.
It's going to be awesome.
Thanks, Ben.
Bye.
Thanks, Ben.
And then a little humble brag here. I will be going once again to Girona to do a 3.5 week, what I call an overtraining camp. Usually riding 18 to 20 hours a week with well over 1,000 TSS, but also enjoying the good food and good wine and all of the historic architecture that the region has to take place. On July 6th, Aaron and I are planning on doing the Girona Three Peaks Challenge. And one of the main peaks that features in this is the famous Roca Corba climb. I'm going to put some details here about that. This is it. It's about 13K. It goes straight up, almost 3,000 feet again. A lots of double digits in there, and it's definitely very challenging. I myself have lost about, I don't know, 15 pounds since the last time I went to Spain, so hoping to set a personal best up that climb, and here's the view from the top. But stay tuned to the channel. I plan on releasing some short videos while I'm there of just Girona in general and things of that nature. I'd really like to encourage people to come with us the next time. So if you're on the fence, stay on the lookout for YouTube and stay on the lookout on my Instagram. I'll definitely be sharing some things from the trip. We leave on Friday and don't come back until the 23rd. Thank you.